From the new recording lair located deep beneath the Wine and Spirit store in Ephrata, Pennsylvania.
You're listening to the Masonic Light Podcast.
Studio 665 presents Masonic Light Podcast. This show is recorded by Masons, for Masons, and is for entertainment purposes only. And please, no wagering.
This podcast is not endorsed by any Grand Lodge, and the ridiculous ramblings of the hosts are their own. And now, here's your host.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Detman with the Masonic Light Podcast. And it is episode number 183.
183? I thought this was 184.
183.
It's amazing.
Wow, I've saved 2 weeks of my life. Cool.
More amazing I've lived this long.
All right.
Tonight's episode, as all of our episodes, are brought to you by our sponsors, George J. Grove & Son.
Thanks, George.
Hiram Solomon Cigars. Helm Construction.
Oh, yeah.
Intermezzo by Stephanie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Two Pillars Apparel. And by our fantastic Patreon supporters. You too. Jack, tell us, how can we become a Patreon supporter?
You know, for as little as $1.
Just $1, folks.
Just one.
$1.
$1. Larry, say it.
Say it! Somebody wake him up. Larry, are you there?
Never mind.
I'm still stuck on Intermezzo by Stephanie.
Me too.
Sorry, my mind is going
So
there.
the pie that we had was Intermezzo adjacent.
Just so you know, Intermezzo by Stephanie sounds so fantastic. And let me tell you, audience, she looks great too.
Well, Jesus, Larry.
Hey, boy, calm down, Larry. Settle down.
Anyway.
We're going to have to put you back in the seminar again.
Back.
Jeez.
Back.
Notify Human Resources at
Anyway.
555-2211.
We also have had some recent donations again by our good friend R. Scott Hoover.
Oh, yeah.
For all of your
at Colorado.
Lancaster painting needs. If you can find him, call him.
Look up.
Look up. Yeah, he's up in the air somewhere. So thank you, R. Scott. Anyway, good to see you guys again.
Yeah.
It's been a busy time.
So if we sound a little thrown off, it's because we're a day ahead.
Yeah.
We're actually recording this at the studio a day early because Wednesday of this month, of this week, is the Ephrata Fair Parade. Now, I don't know if you live somewhere where there's a local fair, not even a county fair. I mean, there's like 10 towns that have these little fairs in the fall. But they closed down US 322 right down the middle of Main Street.
And there must be 500 people out on the street.
And
right
the
now.
truck drivers that come up this road know. they just don't come this way. That's all. Because it's a mess, and it's just it's crazy. It's old school, old town. I think it's like the fourth complete week in September or something like that is Fair Week. But
And it is.
so if we recorded tomorrow, we would be trapped inside the fair
definitely.
parade because
We can't be having that.
I
It
was
goes
telling-
right around our studio.
I was telling Tim I've been to the Ephrata Fair Parade a number of years ago, and it's about a 3.5 hour process. Because I think every high school band in a 4 or 5 county area is down here, and they're competing. They're competing for prizes.
Yeah,
So, I mean, the place is just unbelievable.
Like everywhere else, it's kind
Yeah.
of down from that. That
We
was
were-
was kind of the high water mark. That
we were
was
coming
great.
down the hill tonight to take the detour around downtown.
Oh, geez.
And Tim saw all the people down there at the stands. Oh, my God.
It's crazy, right?
It was crazy.
It's really cool looking at night to
Yeah.
come over that hill and just see the whole street lit up.
It really was kind of cool, but I'm like, damn, there's a lot of people down
But
there.
it's really good at a distance.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We're down a host tonight.
Yes, we are.
And I don't know that we've actually made the official announcement.
Yeah.
Did we make that official?
Well,
we
what
did.
Did we do it
had
on a show?
We had a special name for him. He was like the
An intern?
what
or-
was it? No, he wasn't an intern. He was a
Special person.
permanent special guest thing.
So anyway,
I don't know.
Jake Young is our new co-host. We, as you've noticed, the last several episodes he's been on, and so tonight he's not. He had some other obligations, and so we're here with Josh, Jack, Larry, and myself. And we have no idea where we're going tonight, but sometimes those are some of our best episodes. So let's find out what's been going on Masonically.
We'll let you know.
Since we last gathered. Larry, I'll start with you.
I was afraid you would. Well, let's just
You've been
say
busy, actually.
last week alone was one of the busiest Masonic weeks I've had in a long time. Started off on Tuesday with some kind of Masonic, I don't even remember what it was. Thursday, Goose and Gridiron. Thursday afternoon, we went to Gettysburg and checked in at the hotel for 4 days of a Tall Cedars Eliminate International Convention.
Doesn't that
And
sound
4
fun?
days there. And then on Sunday when we come home, I got to go to Ubar Grotto for pizza night. So needless to say, I was telling Tim, it took me to today to recover from those 4 or 5 days.
I'm personally ashamed of myself for how much of that pizza I ate.
Me too.
I was doing. Yeah, I was.
Hey, when
not,
you drop $30 for pizza,
irregardless,
you gotta eat a bunch.
I mean,
But it was-
that was
It was
really
good, though.
pizza.
It really was
not,
good
That was
pizza.
not delivery.
It was some of the best I think I've ever had.
Hats
really.
off to
That was
John
Jim.
Wright's restaurant.
John
Yeah.
Wright's restaurant. Wonderful pizza oven, man. He knows how to make them. It's
Yeah.
unreal. It's
So if
unreal.
anybody in the area would like to help us increase our attendance by joining Ubar Grotto, please let us know because we need to get those food prices down a little bit.
Yeah. The more people we have, the less money we pay. So
Right.
So
that's,
I mean,
that's
I had
a great
some.
reason for you to join.
I had some things the week before, but last week just overwhelmed it, and that's what I've been doing.
Jack.
Well, we had on Thursday last, we had a 3rd degree that I guided. I haven't guided for a long time, and that was a lot of fun. Look forward to him. Seems very interested in who and what we are. So we'll look forward to that. We had then on Saturday, we had the Oklahoma Indian degree team at the Zembo Shrine. And it may be that for the time, there's been enough of them in the area. I think enough people have seen it that if you're interested in that kind of thing, you've probably seen them by now. Not saying in 3 years there's not a whole crop of new guys that would go crazy to see them. But attendance was off a little bit, and I think part of the reason is just saturation. They're great. They're great fun. Every time you see it, you see something different, just like our lodges when they do, degree work and stuff. But and then that was Saturday, and then Sunday we had Ubar.
And lots of pizza.
Yeah, it was a great time. We had some visitors at Ubar from New York. One of them, you might even call him our, I don't know, what would you call him? Our great step-grandfather.
Something like that. Yeah.
Victor Mann came down, and he came down with Frank Sforza. Both we met, I think, when Frank was at Azim Grotto, right? And then he formed his own grotto out somewhere out on Long Island.
Yeah.
Long Island. Somewhere.
Long Island.
Sorry, guys, I have to do that. Yeah. I'm from Jersey, so I can pick on you. But anyway.
He's also a grand historian.
Yes.
title for it,
So super proud of that. Yes.
Grand
And
historian
for good reason.
Grottos of North America.
Yeah, he's got some fantastic. He had a display of all kinds of little, the tchotchkes that we get throughout our Masonic career. He has a huge selection of grotto memorabilia and that kind of stuff. And
It's amazing that he packed up all that stuff, which was a lot.
he loves it.
Had his history. I mean, he and Victor came down. I mean, that's a lot of effort and a lot of work.
Yeah.
Just to come down to.
It's a 4-hour drive and an overnight
exactly.
in a hotel. Yeah,
The guys are great. I only had one complaint.
Hey,
And I took this complaint directly to Victor. Why haven't you been on this show? Pete and I tried to get him on for
Victor's
6
never been on the
years.
show?
Never been on the show.
Get out of town.
He's been interviewed remotely from like the hotel up in wherever.
But he's never
but
been
never been
officially
on
Well, I remember
the
when
show.
Barry was a remote.
Oh, yeah.
recording,
Barry was on remote when he was doing opera in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Victor was.
Had I only known, we would have,
I
kidnapped
thought you were
him.
making those arrangements. Because Victor.
Oh, did you not?
Yeah, no, you know why? Because Victor said to me that he's over there making those arrangements with you right now. Victor, you owe me.
Well, if I made those arrangements, I'd love to know.
Good Lord.
And then Monday night, we had, instead of the usual Monday Night Light at the lodge or at my house, we went to School of Instruction. We had a couple of new Master Masons in my lodge that would have met at my house. So instead we went and we met at the School of Instruction, and Ephrata Lodge was exemplifying the third degree. And that's a degree I'm very particular about. So I like to see it done right.
Josh, how about you?
Nothing officially Masonic that I haven't really done since last show, but
We looked for you at Grotto.
I didn't come. I was going to.
We could see your house.
we know.
Yeah, but yeah,
We could see your house.
I smelled the pizza and I was being drawn, but unfortunately I didn't make it. But I did have some fellowship with some Masons, and I've had a few conversations about different Masonic things with different people, but again, nothing official.
And if that's not cryptic,
Well, I mean, it's just
That's just practicing Freemasonry.
sure.
Yes, it is.
I mean,
Yeah,
you don't. It doesn't.
and it
have-
counts. It
know it
counts.
does.
Only about
Yeah.
2% of it happens inside the lodge.
Right.
That's right.
I get it.
That's right.
there. I just mean no official meetings.
No
or
official
anything like
meetings.
So
that.
you had a
I
busy
get it.
week too.
Doing stuff. Oh, I mean, like I felt like I was in meetings with watching Larry's commentary. But aside from that, no.
So, since our last episodes, I've been rather busy with a lot of
Oh,
a lot of
Figured
lodge
that.
stuff. Eureka West Shore Lodge, number 302, had, in our last episode, we had just had our stated meeting. We conferred a third degree.
Did that sound like a radio serial from the 30s?
In our last episode. When we last left, Veronica said. Anyway, Eureka 302 held its 168th anniversary banquet and ladies' night up at the Scottish Rite Ballroom. Had about 115 people there. It was a really good time had by all. Some great music by the West Shore Symphony Quintet. A lot of fun. And then last week, District 3 held its annual Low Veil, of which my lodge was one of the co-sponsors of. We had 103 people out in a big cornfield conferring a third degree. One of the past masters from Orrstown Lodge actually conferred the third degree on his son, who had he had previously conferred the first and second degrees like a year or two earlier, and then life kind of got in the way, and so he was able to complete his third degree at that Low Veil. And then 2 nights later, up in Mifflintown, District 19 held a Low Veil, and I believe this is their second one. They're building on the success of the first. These outdoor degrees, I think, are great opportunities for guys to come together in an atmosphere that's a little different than a regular lodge room, because the dress tends to be, slacks and a collared shirt as opposed to coat and tie and so on. And this time of year in particular, we were blessed with good weather at night, so it was very nice to be outdoors. And then the next day, while Jack was at the Oklahoma Indian degree event, I was out in Johnstown conducting a secretary and treasurer training for the good folks in District 21 out there.
Nice.
So enjoyed my time with them, and got a good group of secretaries and treasurers all around, but it was good to get to see those guys again. and then participated in the aforementioned pizza eat-off at Ubar Grotto. So, again, busy time. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll figure out what we're going to talk about, and we'll be right back.
Why choose George J. Grove & Sons for your next home improvement project? At George J. Grove & Sons, we've built our reputation on quality and trust for more than 50 years. From planning to materials to installation, George J. Grove promises a home improvement experience second to none. Whether your goal is reducing energy costs, decreasing maintenance, updating curb appeal, or simply increasing the value of your home, the George J. Grove team will recommend and provide solutions that stand the test of time. Call 717-393-0859 for an estimate or visit us at georgejgrove.com.
And we're back.
Welcome back, everybody.
And sometimes we just pick up a topic on the fly and we talk about it, and that's what we're going to do. We got a couple of things, hopefully, that'll kind of thread together to form a cogent episode. I don't know. That's up to Josh after we get done. But those of you that listen to this show a lot, you hear when we go around the horn to begin with, and we ask Josh what he's done. He says, well, I did the show. Like that's a non-thing, right? But okay, you didn't go to a meeting, you didn't go attend a reunion, you didn't have a role in some event somewhere. That not everybody does everything, right? Not everybody should do everything, but you do what you do to contribute in whatever way you do, right? So, for you to do this show, I mean, I couldn't put this show together like you do. I don't have the skills. I don't have the equipment. I don't have any of that. But you do, and we appreciate. And this isn't like Love Josh Day or anything. But what I'm saying is that in life we need to demonstrate outside the lodge those lessons. Wait, no, never mind.
You jumped
Stop.
right into it.
Right, because it's part of me.
Yes.
It's who I am, and that's what makes a difference in your Masonic journey. They say that there's two important dates in Freemasonry. The first is when you get it, and the second is when you get it, right? And it's fun when that happens. But Tim read something to us just as we were sitting before the show started, and it's sort of the same question from two different perspectives. And I want to read. I don't know. Read. You want to do one and talk about it, and then do the other and talk about it, or do you want to read both questions?
I can do it. We can do it either way. What do you think?
So they know how the questions are going to be different. I don't know. This is going to be all right. Heads or tails?
Tails.
Okay, you win. We'll read the questions together first.
Okay,
and then we'll go back and answer the questions.
So how I came up with these questions was actually something Jack had said on a previous episode, and it actually fits very well with what Jack just did in terms of acknowledging what Josh does for us. It actually came from a discussion about how to recruit members. We were talking about how do we get members, and I believe it was Jack, you said, we just need to be better Masons. Just be Masons.
Live it.
Live it. If we live what we say, people will be knocking our doors down to get in.
I believe that.
Okay. So it actually...
Did I provoke you, Tim?
You did.
Oh,
You
my
provoked
God.
me.
I provoked Tim to deeper thought.
But I've also been provoked
honored.
by some things that I've read online recently.
Ruh-roh.
And so it actually led me to the first of these questions. And then in my opinion, I refined it with the second one. But the first one is good too.
The second one asks a different question.
Yeah.
Though,
So the first
right?
one is, how do we as Freemasons, in a world of supercharged social media, where many brethren feel compelled to share every thought entering their brain about every subject, best reflect our Masonic principles to each other and to potential members?
Uniquely passive-aggressive, but I like it.
So that was just kind of the free flow of thought of developing that.
That was when
question.
you read them to me, though. That was the second one.
It was. I just read them to you in the order they were on the page.
We talk about this before the show.
Yes, Larry. That we were going to have it on
10
the show.
seconds.
Oh,
Yeah,
we did?
and we told you while we were sitting at the
No,
table.
I wasn't listening.
Well, that's shame on us.
I was
He was
on the
talking
phone
to
with
his
Ken
son.
Hudson.
I know. So anyway,
You changing your mind about
no.
whether we should ask them both?
Let's go ahead. So
Okay.
so again, the gist of this is how do you
How do you
demonstrate these Masonic principles in a social
our-
media world?
to each other and to potential members.
Okay. So and then the other side of the question was, now read this.
Okay. So, how do we as Freemasons best reflect our Masonic principles, such as reverence for God, devotion to country, integrity, justice, tolerance, and service to mankind, in a world of supercharged social media?
Okay.
So it takes the same.
When you read them to me, you read them in reverse order,
Right.
and it had a different connect for me,
Okay.
right? Because that the second question offers the opportunity to opt out of the social media world,
Right.
right? I mean, the way the question is read,
Uh-huh.
it leads you. Josh, did you hear that part of it?
Yeah.
Josh nods. Let the record show Josh nodded. Thanks
The
for
minutes
helping
will
there,
so
Josh.
reflect.
You're welcome.
But I mean, to me, they're two different questions, right? It's how do you
Absolutely.
do you have to live in that social media world? Larry, you live in that world.
I do.
Yeah, you're on Facebook all the time.
Well,
You have social media. You belong to dozens and dozens of groups and
yes.
chats and,
Yes, I do.
and all kinds
Well,
of crazy stuff.
How do I still don't understand the damn
How do you
question.
demonstrate your Masonic character on those pages? Or do you? Maybe
Well,
you're one of
yeah,
those people
yes.
that momentarily goes
Okay.
brain dead
No.
and starts
No.
posting, really horrible stuff.
I do. I have the same rules. The same rules.
Which part of that?
That we live with in Lodge. And I'm going to talk about politics. I'm not going to talk about religion. And I'm not going to gamble.
Oh, there you
that's
go.
Not a, oh, yeah. I'm
That
sorry.
cuts out a third of the internet, though,
Right,
Larry. Come
exactly.
on.
Yeah, I'm not
We
going to
got
do
things
it.
to do here.
I'm not going to do it. As much as I want to, I won't. Sometimes
I think it's-
I feel I want to reach out and choke people, but I won't do that
I mean, I think we've all fallen into the trap
Digitally.
of seeing something
digitally.
Digital.
and sometimes without giving a lot of thought to it, respond just
Oh,
in
my
the
goodness.
moment.
It's so easy.
And it's so easy, and that's the problem, is it is so easy.
Right.
And then numerous times you then live to regret and think, man, I maybe shouldn't have said that.
So, like biochemically,
Yes.
what social media does to our brains, and I'm no biochemist, and I'm not even going to pretend to explain anything here, but when you hit that blue arrow, that releases so much dopamine in your brain. I mean, you might as well just shoot the plunger full deep, because that's what you're doing. You're getting these instantaneous dopamine hits, and it changes your behavior, man. It's Pavlov all over the place.
Yeah.
It's crazy. There's tons of good research
on this.
Yeah. Dopamine and social media. That's the topic. Josh,
Josh is going to jump in here.
Jesus. Josh, are you there, Josh?
I just have a hard time, like the social media thing, actually taking it, like, because for me, it's always been a joke. And even my existence on social media is kind of a joke. It's not even really my name or anything, right? So almost everything that comes out from me from social media is probably like a joke
Okay.
and silly. So
And those
like,
of us that know you know that.
yeah, but I don't really have too much to do with like Masonic stuff
And some of the
on
jokes,
social media.
I don't have an idea what the hell you're talking about.
Well, I'm a little weird, but
It's a generational thing, Larry.
It
I
has
think.
to be.
Yeah.
It's way over my head.
Yeah.
I did spend a good amount of time as a troll, but
And I'm
reformed
embarrassed.
now.
I'm embarrassed to ask you, what do you mean?
Good question. What's a troll, Josh?
We're going to learn about that next week, or next show. with Jake.
Oh, just kind of like antagonizing people with like questions and just messing with people and stuff.
Think about the image of trolling, right? Let's see it symbolically. There's a giant hook in the water that's being dragged through, and anything that gets in its way is going to get snagged. Right. That's trolling.
Yep.
Well, and part of the development of these questions is as much a confession, I guess, from my perspective, of how to not do some of this stuff.
Right.
Not feeling compelled to respond to every thing that you see or everything that you experience. Or
what did I put up? I created the ding.
Oh yeah,
right. The ding.
The ding.
I was so deep. Mm-hmm. I was way down the spiral around the drain, and I finally just one day I was like, wow, no, and I deleted everything that I was about to post, and I just typed ding. Just to get the hell out of it, you know. Just like so, if you're ever seeing me on social media and you see ding, that means like I just saved you a scathing reply that would have embarrassed you and your grandchildren. It just, you know. But it's just why there's no win to that, right? I mean, there is no win. So.
Well, and my concern is that I embarrass myself.
Oh
and,
my
and
God!
Our fraternity and everything we're supposed to be about. Yeah. So I've really tried to back off that kind of stuff, and it's just it's again, we're in a crazy world right now, crazy times, and it's tough. Yeah. It's tough out there.
So, no, it's I mean, why do we do this? Not the show in particular, but this Masonry stuff. I mean, you have to ask the hard questions. Like we were at School of Instruction, the district deputies talking about, digging down deep and doing the self-analysis, the self-awareness stuff, and creating a program for moving forward. And it takes work. It takes work to keep a lodge healthy like that.
Well, and it's all about, again, getting back to being a better Mason, a better man, takes a lot of reflection. Takes a lot of self-examination and finding the ways to smooth that rough ashlar.
And I think honestly, social media takes away our time to do that. It takes away our motivation to do that. We end up drifting in a vague current of modern thought or society or whatever, and then you realize that you've drifted way too far down that river, and you can't. There's no getting back, right? Which, for whatever, but social media limits your ability, I believe, to think long range, because everything happens in 114 words or whatever. Or, it's not that anymore, but characters, but everything comes at you so fast, and even the little video reels that we scroll through. What is that? A minute, 2 minutes, maybe?
Yeah.
Is that enough to write the Constitution?
No.
Can't
even read it.
I mean, it just we've lost the ability to pay attention. We've lost the ability to pay attention to the things that we need to be paying attention to. As a statement.
I have a cigar stain on my pants.
Well,
here.
Larry,
you should
change your pants
stain,
occasionally.
Larry?
We've lost the ability to pay attention.
Exactly.
Somebody gets it.
Somebody gets it.
But no, that's what social media does to us, and it's I hope that there's a swing at some point, because we're just it's like a tsunami of social, influencers and all that kind of stuff. And these are 16, 17, 18-year-old kids that are changing the world that us old effers live in, right? I mean, it's inexorable. It's crazy to watch. It's such a weird time to be alive.
I used to hear my grandparents years and years, this is a long time ago, obviously, talk about things that changed or things that would need to change. And they always went back to World War I and World War II, how that changed the world. And I can remember in the 50s, my grandparents saying, maybe we need another war. to change things the way they should be. And I used to think, oh my God, how can you even think like that?
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
But that was the mindset back then.
I kind of thought, and talking to her, my wife and I agree that we really hoped that 9/11 would be that thing.
Yeah,
that
it
event
wasn't.
That really
It was for a moment.
It was momentary, and then it just got it just disintegrated. And now it's forgotten. I posted the other day.
Yeah.
There are people right now who are old enough to vote that were not even born yet when that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So, never forget doesn't mean anything to that that new generation.
Now, unfortunately, my grandparents, their thought processes have me thinking that we're not in a good place in this world right now, and something like this could easily happen.
Yeah.
I think
I just don't want anything to cut off my drug supplies.
The magic of CBD.
Yes.
I think that it's kind of like they're kind of two examples of the same thing. Like we're talking about 9/11 and how it's not even really present for anybody anymore, right? But I think that's another example of the attention span thing and how quickly things are happening and coming at us all the time. Thinking about how much the world has changed technologically since 2001, right?
Yeah.
Think where cell phones were at in 2001.
I was going to say.
So 15 years societal swing, right? 15 years societal swing. 1945 to 1960, the Beatles.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. So that's a 15-year swing. So from the Beatles to 75, that's post-Woodstock, and you're now into the next generation, right? So it's progressive. And I know that my parents' probably thought that the world was going to hell in a handbasket.
Oh, they did. They used to tell me when I was a little kid. Yeah.
Sure. So it's a perfect, can't stick your toe in the same river twice kind of thing. The world is changing under our feet. We can't really do anything about that except stand up on the principles that we carry with us, right?
There it is.
That's the only thing that we have is who are we? And we are whoever we decide to make ourselves to be. And in this sea of sifting sand that we've all built our castles on, it's the core of you that is going to keep that house standing. That's why I'm here. And I strive to impart that on other people because it's a really hard concept.
I frequently reread that list again to myself just to remind myself because you're right. We don't have a long attention span. And by the time I finish reading that list, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm not hitting the send button on this.
Some of the guys that write the interesting stuff, the interesting quasi-spiritual, meditative contemplation type stuff about Freemasonry, those guys, like the posters on the wall behind us, right? The tarot and that kind of stuff. They're the few. They're among the few who can sit still and meditate and think for a long period of time on a particular thing, right? And they can, and this is how artists create. They spin off of that moment when they can create something. What are you doing, Tim? Tim's taking a selfie. Oh my God.
Social media.
Anyway, so stop me. I'm rambling, but I love this craft, and it gives us so many cool tools that and training to use them.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Looking for a way to show your Masonic pride and affiliation, but also want to have a relaxed look?
Two Pillars Apparel is a Masonic-owned company that incorporates sports apparel with Freemasonry. Check out their current lines from Blue Lodge, as well as the appendant bodies York and Scottish Rite. Two Pillars Apparel is always adding new designs and items. Check in today to get a baseball or hockey jersey, or one of their new Scottish Rite lapel pins or hoodies. Two Pillars Apparel works for lodge social functions or going to the game. Visit them at twopillarapparel.com. That's TWO, pillarsapparel.com.
Welcome to Quiet Time with Larry Merris.
It is a powerful moment to stand at this monument this morning, erected to honor the memory of 34,000 Pennsylvania soldiers in 1863 at the Battle of Gettysburg. It's a somber reflection on our nation's history and its grand design, towering over once war-torn battlefield. Its granite dome is crowned by a bronze Nike figure, the goddess of victory and peace. I read that in a gesture to the biblical passage of Isaiah 2:4, whatever it is. The two little dogs.
You know, that religion thing.
Been reading the Bible lately?
Which they say they beat their swords into plowshares. The bronze used to cast the Nike statue came from melted down cannons. With her sword in one hand and palm branch in the other, she stands as a majestic symbol of victory through peace. Jeez. See, I didn't.
And scene.
Cut. All right.
You didn't even give me a chance to finish it. Come
I think
on.
we just lost all our listeners.
You disintegrated, Larry. What happened?
Oh, no.
There's a puddle of Larry
That
under
didn't
the...
work out real well, did it?
So thanks to our producer for saving you from the
hilarious.
remainder of that. Larry, do you want to give credit to the reading
I
that
did.
you
That
were
was a
attempting
portion
to
of.
give?
That was a portion of an actual very good speech by our own John Bridegroom, who was the senior Grand Warden of the Grand Lodge of Indiana, who was in here for the Tall Cedars.
Our own.
A great guy.
We own
And
him.
I do have the entire speech here, which I would be more than happy to share with anybody if they're interested.
Do you have permission from the writer
It's
to
really
share it?
brilliant, and I'm understanding from everybody that was at the monument that morning, it was well received. He did a great job. He's a good speaker. He's dynamic, and he wants to come back on the show. And I didn't want to get into this too much because I definitely want him back on the show.
Well, is he Grand Master of?
He's-
or he's in the line, right?
Yeah, he's
in
in the
Indiana.
line.
He's in the line.
His actual
Yeah.
title, he's Grand Warden.
Oh, well, geez.
Yep.
He's kind of a big deal.
He's the next guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They do it a little bit differently.
Yeah, we'll have him in.
Yeah, definitely.
See,
so
find out when
Larry,
he's,
do you
find
have
out when he's
permission
coming.
to broadly share his speech?
Well, he shared it with Ken Hudson, so therefore I think
Oh,
it's
okay.
shareable.
Well, if you
yeah.
shared it with Ken, then
Yeah,
all
Brother
bets
Ken.
are
If
off.
you just let you know, if you share anything with Ken Hudson,
It's out there.
Larry's going to put it on the show. So, just so you know. All right.
Can
So-
you make something of that?
So the run up to that was just hilarious. It was so perfect. You know, Larry, you had one job. One job.
I can't wait to hear how you cut this together. This you will earn your salary here, my friend. Let me just say, because we don't pay you. So, all right.
I'll be better prepared for the next one.
So, what do we want to talk about? Are there any monstrous Masonic like things that we want to talk about right now? How to fix it?
Well, everybody seems to have their own ideas about how to fix it.
I don't want to
And,
fix it. It's great.
The problem is, as we started at the beginning, the way to fix it is to live it.
Yeah.
And
Live it.
live it. If you live it,
Live it.
it'll fix it.
Okay, that leads me to
We
what
should
I was
have
gonna
little
talk
frogs in tuxedos.
Yeah.
about. That leads
Go
me to
and
what
live
I
it.
want to talk
Larry's
Live
having
it.
a movement.
Yeah. My wife belongs to a women's sorority, or what, for lack of fraternity, whatever you want to call it. And I won't name it, and I won't necessarily do that. But it's interesting because we have a fellow who was married to one of the ladies that was a member. And once that lady dies, the husband's just cast aside.
Oh, yeah.
And we kind of felt, we know the gentleman. We invited him a couple of functions for this club that we belong to. It's a wine club, I'll be honest. Mm-hmm. And because his wife did so much for this club and this sorority, that we felt he should continue to be invited. But what happens is if you're not a member, you don't get emails and they don't want you to come to these anymore because it's a woman's thing, apparently. And we feel that that's totally wrong. And it was a discussion that my wife had at the clubhouse a few days ago where they were saying, we don't think that's right either, but these are the rules and regulations. And my wife mentioned, well, in Freemasonry, if a husband dies, the widow's invited to all kinds of functions afterward, and they actually help take care of her, and they do things for her. And these women whose husbands are not Freemasons said, that is a wonderful thing.
Well, it is.
So essentially, through my wife, that we're showing him how we live and what we believe in. By our actions and by our deeds.
That's what we're talking about.
So
live
that's
live it.
Exactly.
Do it.
Live it. Yeah, live it. That's
So
we'll get a shirt. Live it.
Live it. Yeah.
Okay.
Live it. I like bourbon and cigars and maybe 3 people. That's perfect.
We'll make you a collage, Larry.
Right. Larry is a collage. So, Jack.
Yo.
How are things in Ephrata Lodge?
Wow. There's a cannon shot.
Yeah.
Like every lodge, we have our struggles, but we've got a great team. The guys are friends, which is nice. Yeah, we just I think I would love for someone to take on the mantle of caring for the widows. I don't think we've done that well, I know we haven't done a very good job of it in the 20 years I'm a Mason. But I think it was long before that. I don't think we did a good enough job for the ladies. So I hope someone will take that on. But save that. It's a great lodge. I'm super proud of my lodge. I love taking people around. I think aesthetically it's beautiful. Functionally it's great. We don't have a hall association, so we're not nitty-natty about every paper towel that gets used or every plastic cup that gets thrown away. So it's great. Love my lodge.
So you mentioned widows, and I will here remark, however, that
Heard that's
at our recent banquet, we actually had more widows attend than we've had in a long time.
That's great, but it has to be. You have to be proactive about it. You made that happen.
Absolutely,
Yeah, you made that
and
happen.
one of the lessons that we learned from our really good friend Stephanie is to not refer to them as widows. We refer to them as spouses of our deceased brethren.
And that's what we're doing in our lodge in honor of Pete. Yeah.
And it really,
I like that.
Pete's passing really did bring that up because we do have a few younger ladies who've lost their spouses. And the term widow is one that predates my generation.
It's a harsh word.
It
right?
is.
Like grammatically,
Yeah,
it's a harsh word, and I think. But no, she made us aware of that when Pete passed.
Yeah,
and I try to respect that going
Absolutely.
forward. Yeah, it's an interesting, different perspective.
And
on it.
like Tim's Lodge, we once a year we celebrate our wives who've lost departed brother.
Yeah,
It's a banquet. We bring them in, and it's always well attended. We honor them with a blue slipper pin. We have a ceremony. It's
do you make them
very,
sit at
very
the
well
same
done.
table
very well
That's
done.
at the banquet? Do you put them all together at the same table at the banquet?
Yeah, we're not going to do that anymore.
Good idea.
Yeah, I think we don't want to do that anymore. Our chairman for that project has learned his lesson.
Yeah.
So
Love you, Larry.
are we saying that it's more comfortable if they sort of meld into the group?
Yeah.
My experience is it's better to let them sit where they want to sit.
Yeah.
Right.
There was, for a long time, there were a group of these ladies that would meet throughout the year. Every couple of months or even once a month, they'd get together and they'd do something.
Wonderful.
And so when they would come to the banquet,
They would sit together.
It would sit together. It was no big deal. And it was actually, I think this was during my year in the East, we attempted that, and they were like, don't assign us a seat. Let us sit with who we want to sit. We've got other friends in this room. Let us, unless there's a reserved table where someone's purchased a whole table for a group or whatever. And so we've been doing that ever since, and I thought that was a good move to acknowledge. I will promote a program that we've got coming up at our October meeting, and that is the director of the, and I'm going to forget this, the person over the Widows Program, I guess you would say, at the Masonic Charities, Linda Jackson, is coming to do a program.
Okay.
In retrospect, I wish we had done this at our banquet. But we're going to do it as a lodge program before the meeting and invite everybody to bring their spouses with them to the fellowship meal and so on. If you're a lodge out there and you've never had someone come and talk about the programs offered, particularly in Pennsylvania, by the Masonic Charities, I would encourage you to look that up. You can find that very easily on the website. Linda Jackson, I believe, is her name, and you can reach her through the Pennsylvania.
I wonder if that would be a
Freemason.
good program for the ladies, because our current Grand Master is promoting strongly open installation of officers.
Yes.
But there's a period of time when the guests really can't come in the lodge room because we have to conduct a small bit of business. So they're in a separate room somewhere. I wonder if that would be a good
I think
exposition
anything
for
like that
something
would be
that.
awesome.
Yeah, that's a thought. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So let me ask you this. You mentioned the open installations. My lodge has been doing open installations for
Since they
12 years now, since
they've
our
been
merger.
allowed. Yeah,
Since our merger.
I think we were in that first
It was
year that we
permissive
did it.
the 1 year.
Yeah.
We took advantage of that,
Yeah.
and we've never looked back. I know some lodges are struggling with that, but have you continued to do open installations?
Yeah, we always do.
Yeah.
And then
We do.
I know Lambertville has,
We do.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we've done open installation every year except for I think maybe like 1 year we did. It might have been a COVID year.
And then there's
or
the
something
year
like
that we
COVID
did the
year we
installation for you.
yeah.
That
It
was
was a Masonic
fun
light
one.
installation. That was
Yeah.
amazing.
That's one of my most memorable
That
installations.
was great.
Yeah, that was an open installation.
Yeah,
Right.
So it was. We used when we first started it. My two predecessors, did it, and the way they handled it at first is the incoming master could decide whether they wanted an open or close. And once we got past about 4 or 5 in a row of us, everybody was like, "Yeah, we're just going to do open from now on. We're not even going to give anybody a choice on this." This is because our crowds. We actually get a good crowd at that because we talk about it. We promote it at our banquet. Last week at the end of the evening, the master said, we've got several upcoming events, and we definitely want to make you aware of our open installation in December, where we invite everyone from the public. So not only the people in this room, but invite your friends.
We every year have a memorial service. I think most lodges do.
Not as many as ours didn't do it for a long time.
Really?
I really wish. I've seen some really good ones.
I
Lodge
saw.
of Sorrows.
I mean, ours is very cool. We bring out a table and we have candles on the table for each member who's passed.
You ring a bell for each.
Yeah, each time it's
distinguished
his
select,
dates are recited or whatever. Anyway, I was in Maryland for their grand installation, and they had a Lodge of Sorrows, and they had a very cool involvement of the ladies, the spouses of our deceased brethren, who participated in the ceremony.
Oh, cool.
And there was a candle that they lit. They didn't really light a candle. They turned the bulb.
Turned it on.
Turned on, yeah. But they went through and lit a light for each of their spouses and deposited a flower on the altar. And it was really pretty. I'd love to do something more than what we do here in Ephrata. It's a pretty it's cool and it's meaningful and it's a very solemn night. But I think there's I think we could take it to the next level.
That actually brings up a good point. We've done this before, and we don't always get a lot of response from it. But if your lodge does something really cool, with your widows / spouses of deceased brethren, post something on our website and share it, or on our Facebook page, rather. Larry, you got to.
Yeah, sometimes when they do that ceremony, I call it lumpy. Till the guys get the table out, and some of them trip on the leg of the table, and they set it up, and then they put the candle, and they can't get the lighter going to light the candles. 15 minutes pass, and they can't. And finally, we do it, and all of a sudden, after all that circus activity, it loses its meaning.
This is an excellent lesson in the value of rehearsal.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
And it's
yes.
Yeah. I just.
Am I right?
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Speaking of things that need to be rehearsed.
Yeah. Our show.
If you are, we've tried that. That's not helped. If you are ever asked to be the chaplain at a lodge meeting and told all you have to do is read these prayers, please read them like 3 times to yourself before the meeting starts.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, I'm telling you what. In the last month, I've heard some butchered read prayers. Mm-hmm. And it's because they're reading it for the first time out loud in front of the lodge.
It's not like they've heard it 3,000 times in their lives, right? But yeah, they have trouble.
So read them.
I think the chaplain in our lodge has it memorized. At least the opening and closing.
But a chaplain should have it memorized. If somebody's sitting in.
I was chaplain of my lodge in South Carolina.
Charles?
Really?
I had to memorize 3 prayers.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was not easy for me.
I get it.
Which consequently was why I'm not an officer of Masonic Lodge. Memory work is tough for me. Ding.
He dinged you.
All righty then. I've been dinged.
Yes. All right. Well, we have some Dutchy Doug. We have no copious dues tonight because we have no one that we can play with.
We can play with ourselves.
And Walter is on. Yeah, you can play with yourself.
I didn't say that. Hold on. We can play with ourselves. I don't know how much.
Somebody wrote a song about that, didn't he?
Chuck Berry?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, it was. So we'll take one quick break here for Dutchy Doug. And when we come back, we'll start to wrap up tonight's show. As far back as the mid-1800s, records exist describing the pre-meeting tradition of brethren smoking cigars during and after gatherings. To this day, the practice of smoking cigars remains very much alive in many lodges. This custom is considered a time for brethren to relax, exchange ideas, and enjoy the simplicity and fellowship that is the very essence of our brotherhood. This is what Hiram Solomon Cigars is all about. Our starting principles are to bring Masonic brethren together in the harmony of a good cigar. Pull up a chair, sit back, light up any of our premium cigars, and enjoy the history. Hiram Solomon Cigars can be found at fine cigar retailers. For a complete list, visit HiramSolomonCigars.com or check them out on social media to find out when they'll be at a live event near you. Hiram Solomon Cigars is pleased to be the official cigar of the Masonic Light Podcast.
Hello, brethren. Dutchy Doug is here again to give an update from my lodge, the Broken Plow, number 377. Boy, do I have a story for all of you. The brethren of the Broken Plow had a very enjoyable and restful summer off from labor. Surprisingly, nothing weird happened in our valley for 2 whole months. but the incident-free streak ended at our September stated meeting. The members of the Broken Plow were proud to have a contingent of visiting brethren from Acadia Lodge number 287, located in Bar Harbor, Maine. The group came down to visit because Brother Jonas Hummer grew up in our valley, but now lives up there due to marrying a New England girl. Aye, aye, aye. Brother Jonas brought 3 of his fellow Maine brothers to our meeting. We were all excited to meet each other, compare and contrast our rituals, and to simply enjoy each other's company. The meeting itself went just fine. A typical September meeting. Some of the junior officers made rusty mistakes given the time off, but nothing that elicited any heavy sighs from any past masters on the sidelines. We all retired to the social hall to take off our ties and chew the fat. Our refreshments for the evening came from Mrs. Becker, Brother Ben Becker's wife. She made one of the Pennsylvania Dutch's culinary gifts to this world, 3 dozen fresh whoopie pies. Frau Becker was well known for her baking abilities, and we all looked forward to chomping into those white and black cakey delicacies. After an appropriate blessing, we all lined up. We invited our visitors from Maine to the front of the line. Visiting Brother Eric Anderson saw the desserts, turned to the group, and exclaimed, "My brethren, you truly are thoughtful hosts. A great evening of Freemasonry capped off with a spread of Maine's culinary gift to the world, whoopie pies." Now we all looked at each other and started to laugh, thinking of course that he was joking, but he wasn't. For those of you uninformed brethren, there's a mighty argument over who gets to claim the whoopie pie. We Pennsylvania Dutch have always insisted that the treat was invented by Pennsylvania Dutch women using up extra cake batter as early as the beginning of the 20th century. One of our brothers quickly exclaimed, "Nice joke, Brother Eric. Now take a whoopie pie and sit down. Others are waiting." This statement did not go over well with the Maine contingent. Another visiting brother, Brother Mark Murdo, said, "The whoopie pie is from Maine. It is our official state dessert. Labatti's Bakery in Lewiston, Maine has been serving them since 1925, and the world's largest whoopie pie ever made was baked in Portland, Maine in 2011, weighing 1,062 pounds. The story of the whoopie pie begins and ends in the great state of Maine." The other Maine brothers cheered. Brother Amos Appleschnitz, past master, took to the floor to defend the honor of our Commonwealth. He said, "My dear brothers from Maine, I laud your zeal, affection, and dedication to Maine, but like most things that New Englanders say and believe, it is not true. The origins of the humble whoopie pie lie deep in the soil of our beloved Pennsylvania. Let me remind you that you are guests in the state that birthed our country's independence, saved our country in the fields at Gettysburg, and built our country with steel from the shores of the Allegheny. The whoopie pie is as Pennsylvania as Ben Franklin." A cheer went up from our brethren. Brother Mark quickly said, "Well put, Brother Amos, but Ben Franklin was originally from New England." The Maine contingent erupted in cheers. Brother Amos shot back, "You are right, but old Ben got out of New England as fast as he could, came to Pennsylvania, and never went back." Again, cheers from the Pennsylvania Masons erupted. At this point, Brother Becker jumped into the discussion. "Brethren, let us drop this ridiculous argument," he said. "My wife lovingly made these whoopie pies to be enjoyed, not argued over. And if we don't dig into these soon, my blood sugar is going to drop to dangerous levels, so let's eat." We all applauded Brother Becker's comments, and we shook hands and enjoyed our whoopie pies. So just where does the story of the origin of the whoopie pie lie? I guess we will never know. But I can honestly state that I don't care where they are from. They are delicious. Till next time, work hard, stay plumb, and out in the lights when you leave the room. To learn more about the Pennsylvania Dutch language, culture, and history, please visit my website, padutch101.com, or my YouTube channel. Just search Doug Maidenford.
And we're back. Thanks to Dutchy Doug
back.
for another episode from the Broken Plow Lodge.
Thanks.
Plow. It's
Feel
always
good,
fun
Doug.
to hear from those brethren.
Nice. All right.
So, just want to promote our next episode because I think it's going to be like super fantastic.
Okay.
Our new co-host, Jake Young, is going to talk to us about all things. You want to describe it, Josh?
Probably it's mostly about good practices, like in the current internet world.
Good internet practices, yeah.
How not to get your identity stolen.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
not-
it extends. It
it's
extends
already
more
stolen.
than-
Much beyond that.
It's
more than
already
just
stolen,
The
don't worry.
internet. It's
Yeah.
just more good practices for tech safety.
How to take our Masonic lessons and put them into the world
how
of technology.
people try to mess with you. Larry, you're never winning that $1 million.
Sorry, Larry.
Okay.
And if there was a prince, he wouldn't be reaching out to you.
That's right.
From Nigeria? Is that guy?
Exactly. That's the one. All right. So what do we got going on in the next couple of weeks prior to Jake's episode? Jack, Harley, I ask you.
I say unto thee, what do I have going on? Regular Masonic stuff every Monday night, Ephrata Lodge, 7 o'clock. Be there, learn stuff. The show is coming out. We got next thing is stated meeting. Although I have a district deputies retreat that I have to do at some point.
Oh, yeah, for chapter.
For chapter, because I'm a district deputy, or I'm
Elect.
going to be a district deputy grand high priest, and they take you to some indoctrination camp or something. I don't know what happens there, but marshmallows and s'mores and stuff, I think. And then just to put it out there, put it on your calendars, because I'd love to have the room full or at least 4 people there. My installation will be January 9. What is it? What's October, November, December, January 16th, Thursday, January 16th, at the Lancaster Masonic Center. I will be installed as District Deputy Grand Master, and there will be Intermezzo chocolates to be enjoyed.
I'll be there.
Afterwards, she's going to do a dessert buffet thing.
Cool. All right, Josh.
Definitely going to be chocolate there.
Definitely going to be chocolate. You put your order in now. I'll make sure whatever you like is there.
If there's going to be chocolate,
There's going to be.
okay.
We're going to dip you in it.
What do I have coming up? I think we have lodge meeting coming up before the
Yes,
next
we
show.
do, 1st of
Lodge.
October,
It is
first Tuesday.
past Masters Night.
Yes, it is.
I'll try to show up.
Oh, good.
I always try to show up.
The big one is in November.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going to that one.
That's the biggie.
There's no question.
Okay.
You're
On election night,
On election night.
2024,
Well,
Larry Merris will finally be receiving dun, 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 the 50-year pin.
yeah.
Oh, no. Are you kidding?
50 years.
on
Wait a
election
minute,
night
wait a minute.
2024, I will be at a precinct
Yes, you will.
closing it down to transport.
Well, I've got my
Stuff.
priorities, Tim.
What did
Yeah,
you say
believe
that
me.
was?
It's election night.
First
Election
Tuesday?
night, First Tuesday.
Yeah.
You've had it on your calendar for
I haven't
months.
had. No, I haven't.
You haven't?
No. This is the first
I
I'm
thought
hearing
you
a date.
did.
Yeah, I really wanted to be there, but
I know you did.
duty
I know
calls.
You did. I'm not worried about our lodge because no one's going to work. The poles are too old.
Lambert,
I will say that
Bill.
Corey McNair, Chief Petty Officer, is coming to see that from Italy.
Oh, wow.
Larry Griffith's nephew.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we
We had him on the show.
initiated. He was on the show, so he will be here. He's
Okay,
retiring.
and that is,
Oh.
what, 7 o'clock you guys meet?
42 and retiring.
Larry, what do you got coming up?
What?
What?
Go see
do
Gridiron
you
and
have
Lodge meeting
coming
the
up?
1st of October. That's it.
Okay. Just 3 quick items. Lucius Securitas AMD Council meeting coming up. Always looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get my calendar
Going
out.
up to BJ's for dinner that night.
I
That's
beg your
gonna be
pardon?
fun. Yeah.
They got a deal on hot dogs.
On the 7th, Eureka West Shore Lodge stated meeting. And then on the 9th, we are going before some sort of board in Cumberland County for our tax abatement hearing. For those of you outside
got
of
ours.
Pennsylvania, did you get yours
Yeah,
approved?
we got ours.
Awesome, that's great. Pennsylvania modified a law through the budget bill last time that permits lodges to seek out tax abatement for their property taxes, which is like buku's money. that will be.
It bankrupts a lot of lodges.
It really does.
Yeah.
Lodges have to sell their buildings because they can't afford the taxes anymore. And so if ultimately what's going to end up happening is lodges that don't get it, somebody's going to have to bite the bullet and appeal it, and then it'll get taken care of. Josh is waving. I guess that means it's time to wrap this show up.
That's not what that means.
Okay. All right. So, guys, good show. Good to see you all. We look forward to having you back in a couple of weeks.
Go out there and have a funnel cake.
Yes. Go out amongst the people.
Have funnel cake. Do good.
Am I not doing the closing?
Yes. Just hold your
You
horses.
guys just closed the
No,
damn
it's
show.
hold the chickens. Hold his chickens.
Hold his chickens. All right. Cut the chickens.
This recording
loose,
will
Josh.
close and stand closed until the moving of the chickens.
All right. Do it, Larry.
Special thanks to Effort Lodge 665, to Josh Lamberton, our producer-director, who spoke tonight the most he ever has in 100 shows.
No.
Yes. I clocked it. Jack Harley, our news director. Tid Dedman, our marketing director. To Michelle Snyder, Doug Maidenford, and Austin Schifrin, our Masonic Light podcast contributors. And to our listeners who always make doing this show worthwhile. This is Larry Merris, and I say thanks for listening. Have fun and do good.
Grandmaster of Kansas, and you're listening to Masonic Light.
Well, that was supposed to be something different. Okay, this is Tim. See you all later. Don't forget. What do we always say at the end of our show?
Have fun.
I said have fun, do good.
Oh, okay.
Do
I missed
good.
that. Sorry.
You weren't listening.
I was not listening.
Why weren't you listening? I work hard at this show, and no
I
one
can't wait
listens
for
to me.
Festivus.
Yes. All right. Bye, everybody.